get started up. I don't want to waste your guys' time. So let's get straight into it. Before we start this stream today, I was thinking if I could just impact one person's life in here and change one life in the next 60 minutes are going to be more than worth it. So that's what we're here to do. Make sure to stick until the end. This is going to be absolutely amazing. So we're going to discover our little known momentum trading method that's helped traders turn profitable with just 90 minutes per day. Today, we're going to move pretty fast and cover a lot in a short period of time. If you want to get the most out of this session, please remove all distractions for the next 60 to 90 minutes. Go on Do Not Disturb or whatever you have to do. And then please take down notes. Write down anything and everything that's going to impact you and leave a long-lasting impact. And start applying what you learned today in the next 24 hours. You start in the next 24 hours, you're going to remember basically everything that we're going to talk about. And applying things right away is how you really start the learning process and start changing some of the bad habits that you might have as a trader. Because what I'm about to share today has helped thousands of traders like you master profitability with proven strategies that work in both bull and bear markets and create a reliable stream of income without having to stare at the charts all day. Traders like Steven, who paid off $80,000 worth of medical debt and is now a full-time trader, and actually one of my best friends. And he did all this by learning this program. And he's not like different than anybody else here, right? Everybody is the same. We all just have to understand exactly what we're looking for in the markets, learn a proven system, and have the discipline to stick to it. Every single person could do it. Someone like Mark, he was a former software engineer who made $18,000 in just 2 weeks trading options, and he's now a full-time trader. Traders like Ashley, who lost thousands during FOMC, turned her accounts back profitable in a few weeks. Before we get any further, let me quickly address some beliefs that are probably holding you back. If you have any of these beliefs, drop a me in the chat. So you believe that you need a lot of money to start making real profits. You believe that most of the traders online are scammers and bad actors, and you believe you can figure it out on your own if you just work hard enough. If you hold on to these beliefs, nothing I say today will matter, so let's make a deal. Put your skepticism aside just for now and keep an open mind with the things I'm going to show you. Then make your judgment from there. If we have a deal, type deal in the chat. Type deal, deal, deal. Awesome. Amazing. So who is this for, guys? Who is this for? Well, this is for traders who are tired of inconsistent results and want a proven system for steady profits. Anyone who wants freedom to trade profitably in just 1 hour per day without being glued to charts, and traders looking to master trading psychology and risk management for long-term success. So if it sounds like you know you're in the right place. During our short time together, I hope to make an impact in the following ways. I want to be able to demonstrate how you can find high probability setups that most retail traders completely miss, give you a clear roadmap to becoming a profitable trader using my proven strategy, and show you results from over 5,000 traders who have helped become profitable within the markets. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll give you a copy of our Options Cartel Blueprint, an A to Z guide full of the strategies and concepts that have made me over $1 million in trading in a single year. Please make sure to stay till the end. There's going to be so much sauce that is dropped in this webinar. There's only just one small favor I need from you in return. If I give you the tools, the tactics, and the strategies to become a profitable trader, would you be willing to give me just 5 minutes at the end of the workshop to share an opportunity with you, an opportunity to work closely with me and my team to help you become profitable over the next 6 months? If that sounds fair, type fair in the chat and let me know if you guys are ready to get started. Fair, awesome. Let's get it. Let's start up. So I want your full attention. Please try to stick to this until the end and have your full attention on this. What you're about to receive is what most Wall Street professionals that go to like Harvard have to pay for. And this is all going to be completely free. So pay attention. They charge almost $60,000 in tuition for something like this. So let's pretend you just invested $60,000 today into your education to learn a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. The same skill set that made Austin 6 back-to-back profitable trading weeks, the same skill set that doubled Seth's account on his first trade, and the same skill set that helped Kent fund his automobile company using profits from trading. Now, some of you here may know me, but for those who don't, here is why you should listen to what I have to say. So who am I and why should you listen to me? My name is Sean. I'm the founder of the #1 trading community in the world. This is a community that I built 4 years ago. So I've been doing this for 4 years, and we've helped turn, traders profitable from beginners, from, intermediate traders, and even helped out experienced traders that really wanted to scale up. And I've taught thousands of traders how to use the momentum trading method to become profitable. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because you and I aren't really different. When I started trading 6 years ago, I was just like many of you, losing thousands of dollars, blowing account after account, and struggling to make this trading thing work. And for 2 long years, I did not make a single penny from trading. Imagine wasting 2 years of your life not making a single dollar from trading. That was me. You could see this is in 2020 when I was a basically broke college student. I wasn't able to even add money to my account, and I wasn't making any money for 2 years. And I spent hours upon hours studying charts and backtesting strategies until I had a realization. I had to trade like the best traders in the world, and I had to use a proven strategy. And this is the strategy that actually worked for me. That's when I stumbled across swing trading. So if you don't know what swing trading is, it's a strategy where traders look to capture gains over a span of days, sometimes weeks, instead of just a single session like day trading. Now, here's why swing trading is going to be day trading. And in my opinion, I think swing trading is much better, much more sustainable, and easier for any lifestyle. So swing trading takes only pretty much 90 minutes a day. I'm really only trading about maybe an hour to an hour and a half or 2 hours per day. And day trading ties you up to the screen for 6 hours with constant stress. A lot of my students have told me once they started swing trading, they had no more emotions, stopped having the stress, stopped having anxiety, and now they're just able to follow the plan. And that's what you have to do as a trader. Swing trades allow for cleaner entries using higher time frames, and day trading often forces traders in choppy, low quality conditions. If you're one of those people who thinks you have to trade every single day, you have to make moves every day to catch every single stock, that's just completely untrue. You could trade the best stocks in the market, stay within those best stocks, and actually have better results than people chasing all these, bright, shiny objects within the market. And swing trading also will fit any lifestyle or schedule. And this is why I personally got into it, is because as a college student, I had a lot of time that was tied up in classes and my outside life, learning other things. And I had to find something that made sense for me. So day trading burns most people out before they ever become profitable. Now, these are some of my results. So this is when I first discovered swing trading and started applying it to my own trades. So you saw in 2020, I lost a few $1,000s just not knowing what to do. In my first year in 2021, I was able to make $10,000 swing trading. Now, that might not sound like a lot of money to you guys, right? $10,000 a year, still $10,000 a year, but it's obviously not, going to replace your job. But to me, as a broke college student, that told me, and it changed everything, because I finally started to understand, okay, I can actually make money doing this. And it's not some fugazi, or it's not some scam that I saw online. I'm not going to get rich quick right away. And that's not how you should approach it. But I can make money with this, and I could start scaling. Now, the next year in 2022, you could see I made about $100,000, my first 6-figure trading year. And that's a 10x increase from the last year. This is when things kind of started to click, and I was ready to take this full time. So I started to realize something after this first year. Not all swing trades are created equal. I had success with swing trading, but I quickly learned what most traders overlook. Not all swing traders are created equal. So what I did was, this is a screenshot of my trading journal from 2019 to 2021. When I looked back at my most profitable trades, I found one thing that they all had in common. My most successful trades, the one with the best setups and the biggest profits, were all momentum based. Once I focused solely on those setups, everything changed for me. My strategy evolved. I stopped being just a swing trader and became a momentum trader. And the reason why this is so important to do is because there's so many stocks in the market. So how do you know which ones you're going to choose? You don't want to be stuck in the ones not making a big move. You want to be in the liquid leaders in the market that are leading the markets higher. These are the ones that are going to have exponential returns and really, really change your account. They could even change your life if you catch a few of these a year. Now, the easiest way to explain momentum trading is to compare it to surfing. You're not trying to create the wave, and you're definitely not, wanting to jump on it before it forms. Otherwise, you risk getting wiped out of the markets, right? So we look for stocks where the energy is building and we jump in once it starts and we ride it for consistent profit. So we don't want to get too early, right? But we also don't want to get in too late once the momentum starts to roll over. What we're looking for is the perfect kind of time to start getting into stocks when they start emerging and becoming the leaders of the market. That is your entry point. You want to ride the momentum, and then you want to be able to get those consistent profits. You don't stay on the wave for too long. You don't fight the market or try to predict when the wave will form. You ride the momentum, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, and then step off before it crashes. So once I started momentum trading, my profits rose even faster than I imagined. Now, again, keep in mind, right? At this point, 21 years old, making over $200,000 a year. To me, that was insane. I didn't think it can even get bigger from this. And it was all because of momentum trading. And last year in 2024, I officially made my first ever $1 million in trading. And this was from momentum swing trading. We had an absolutely incredible market where AI stocks were starting to boom. And I was able to withdraw, not only make this amount of money, withdraw, right? 500,000 worth of profits for the year. So I was able to secure that in, lock that in, and able to bring that into my account because it's easy to make money in the markets, but keeping it is the hardest part. Now, a lot of people will show you, screenshots of proof of them making money. They might even show you a video, right? But obviously a lot of that stuff could be faked. So I'm doing something that nobody really does in this industry. At the end of this webinar, I'll show you there's going to be a video of me going over all my broker statements for the year of 2025 and 2024, showing you that all these profits are actually real from my own account and showing you the exact statements of those brokers. And because of the momentum trading, I live the life I've pretty much always dreamed of, able to travel anywhere I want. I'm able to have the locational freedom. I'm able to work whenever I want, do basically whatever I want, whenever I want. And I think that's what we all really search for. At the end of the day, money is not that important. Freedom is really what we want. And that's what drew me into trading. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching it and helping you all do the same exact thing, because I wish I had someone that taught me when I was first starting, or else I would have, been much faster than 2 years of time to take me to get to where I am. So after 4 years of mistakes, hours of testing, and losing tens of thousands of dollars, I've basically perfected trading momentum in the markets. Now, you have the chance to copy it and replicate my success for yourself and basically learn from my mistakes. Right now, you may be thinking, right, I've already lost so much money trying other strategies. How do I know momentum trading actually works? Trading seems to work for other people. Could it really work for me, right? I've been in multiple Discord groups and tried different approaches, but there's never a clear, consistent strategy. How is this one any different? Do I need a large amount of trading capital to do this? I have a full-time job and a family. Can this work for me? Type a "that's me" in the chat if you have any of these questions. And I'm going to be completely honest. These are things that I was questioning when I was first starting to get into trading. I saw someone else be able to do it. I was wondering if this is actually something I could do. Am I cut out for this? Am I built for this? Is that person just much smarter than me that they're able to do this? And I started to realize, no, right? People are not smarter than you, right? They're just doing things the right way and learning the right way. And once you can master that approach is where everything changes. That's me. Yeah, that is pretty much, I think, every single beginner trader. Now, these are all valid concerns, and I promise you we're going to cover each one of these today as we go through the webinar, because the strategy I'm about to show you is simpler, and it works even better than every other trading strategy out there because it's just so simple and repeatable. It's scalable because it is simple, right? That is where it gets, the power of it is the simplicity. So the 3 pillars to making consistent income momentum trading. The first one is going to be price. So how to know which stocks to trade before they explode. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a stock go up 30, 40, even maybe 100% and thought, why didn't I catch that? Or worse, you jumped in after the move started, you got FOMO, and then you got absolutely dumped on and lost maybe your whole portfolio, right? You're not alone, and it's not your fault, because most traders are taking the right action, but they trade the wrong stocks, right? They're trading the stocks that aren't going to be making these big moves. And that's because most traders don't know how to read price. Becoming a momentum trader means using price action to anticipate where the market is headed based on these sectors. So think about a sector as like a category that groups companies together based on their business activity. Obviously, many of you have jobs in different sectors. You already have an understanding of this, right? There's going to be energy, industrials, healthcare, financials, AI sector, right? There's all these different sectors. And there's a reason why we want to focus on different sectors, because there's different sectors that are leading the markets higher, guys. If we're in the dot-com bubble and tech stocks are super hot, that's the sector you want to trade, because those are where the life-changing moves are. You don't want to be trading healthcare stocks because they're not giving you a big return quickly, right? That's not happening because no one is really watching these, healthcare stocks. So if we're in an AI boom, you want to be looking at semiconductors, tech stocks, software stocks, right? These stocks that are leading the markets higher. And this is why it's important to understand these sectors. And that's what we're going to learn today. But here's the mistake, and one of the biggest ones that most traders make. They'll pick a random stock without ever looking at where price is coming from. So if it's coming from a base, what sector, price is in, and they chase social media trends and headlines. So you see something on social media, maybe someone is pumping the stock and they're just trying to pump and dump on you, right? They hop into trades without any context and wonder why they keep losing. Where can I find the strongest sector? Right? This is how you can do it. And this is the easiest way to find the strongest sectors and to avoid all these mistakes that we talked about. So what you're going to do is you're going to use tradingview.com. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in a second right here. So you're just going to go on tradingview.com, and from there, it's going to look something like this, right? So you're going to go on the TradingView home, and then from there, you're going to go to markets. You're going to go to stocks, sectors, and industries. Now, the reason why we use TradingView is because this helps us find the strongest stocks within the market and the strongest sectors and industries. All you have to do is go to the sectors and industries list right here. Make sure to write this down on your notes if you're taking notes. This is going to be very important. Now, we want to find the strongest sectors and the strongest industries. So how do we do that? Well, we start off with the overall sectors, right? So what we're going to do is where we go on sectors right here, we're going to click on performance. And what I really like to do is find the sectors that have been leading over the last week. So if I click this right here on the week, you could see it sorts it by the strongest sectors on the week. So we have non-energy minerals, we have consumer durables, and we have electronic technology. So whichever one you prefer to trade, I usually like to trade technology stocks. So if it's a leading sector, I'm definitely going to trade that one. That is the sector that I'm going to click. So you can click that sector right there. Now, you can see it brings up 348 stocks. Now, that's a lot of stocks to sort through. So what do? We can do the same thing. We go to performance, right? And we can start sorting these by some of the strongest on the week, right? So we can go through these and start sorting these by the strongest on the week. And now we're starting to develop and find some of the leading stocks within the market, because these are the stocks that have been moving higher with the markets, right? So whenever the markets move up, these are the stocks that are moving up. And these are the stocks that are leading that theme and that sector that is going higher. And this is exactly how you're going to find all these stocks. So you're going to go through these. What I like to do is go through the top 20 or the top 30 very, very quickly. You can click something like this. And then let's say you click ALAB, that will pull up that chart of ALAB. So for example, let's go right here and let's type in ALAB. That will pull up the stock for you and you could start charting it. So go to super charts right here, and then you can click ALAB right there. And then you could see how the chart of ALAB actually looks. So this is chart, this is price. You're trying to find, right, the strongest stocks that are breaking out into new all-time highs. Now you could see this stock right here absolutely meets our criteria, guys. This is the stock ALAB. It's coming out of a massive base. Now, instead of chasing this stock and just guessing that it's going to continue to go up, we're looking for a clean pattern to form on this. So we want to see a tight consolidation pattern. So what does that actually look? That looks like either a base or some sort of flag or wedge, right? What I usually like to look for is flags within the market. These are some of the most powerful setups. It looks kind of something like this. This is not fully developed yet, but let's say if it develops that flag and then breaks the high, that is going to be where you're entering. Now, a lot of people are just chasing, they're buying here, they're praying that it goes up. That's not how you do it, right? You find the strongest stocks, and what you do from there is you'll go over the price action and make sure you find the tightest consolidation points. And that is what you're going to look for in terms of your entries. And we're going to go over that a little bit more in detail as we get into the webinar and the exact setups that we're looking for. But let's get back into our sectors. So you're going to go to stocks, sectors, and industries again really quickly. And now you can even get a little bit more in depth, right? So we just looked at some of the strongest sectors. Now let's look at some of the strongest industries, right? The industries are going to be a little bit more in depth. So now that categorizes, let's say, tech stocks into semiconductors or into packaged software stocks or into internet software services, right? So we'll do the same thing. We'll go to performance. We'll look at these over the last week, and we'll look for some of the strongest weekly performing industries, right? So I like computer peripheral stocks because this is in the technology sector, and I think that's where the biggest moves are going to happen. So we're going to click that one. You can look at the top 5 or the top 3, whichever ones interest you the most. And now you can see I have a list of some of the strongest stocks within the computer peripherals industry right here. And then we can do the same thing. Performance, sort these by the last week. And now we found some of the leaders. So we have this stock right here, ANET. This is personally a stock that I've traded before. Absolutely, incredible strength on this one. You can actually see year over year, this one's up 71%. Now, how much is the S&P up, right? The S&P is up maybe only 5% this year so far. Not exactly sure, maybe 3%. And this stock is up 71%. Imagine if you can just catch one of these stocks or 2 of these stocks or 5 of these stocks, right? That's really all you need to do to beat the markets and outperform the markets. You don't need to be in every single stock. You don't need to be chasing every single move you see. You need to find the emerging leaders, and these are the ones that you want to trade. So as we get into the webinar, I'll explain the exact entry module that you're going to use to enter these trades. So let's get back into the presentation now, and we'll get through this, and I'll show you guys exactly how to enter some of these trades. So let's get back into it. So here we have kind of, some of the strongest sectors. So this is how it's laid out right here, and you'll be able to see how to find these, sectors right here. And as we go, you'll know exactly where to enter these as well. So based on this information, you can kind of begin to build a watch list now, right? So what you're going to do is build a watch list, and building these watch lists of strong sectors in the markets, you can start to get results like this. Tony grew his account to $6,000 by trading some of the strongest sectors. He traded the ticker HOOD, which was one of the strongest stocks in one of the strongest sectors, right? Now, Rob also hit his first ever $20,000 month trading in the strongest sectors. Jackie made over $4,000 in the markets using this strategy. And this is another trader in my community who doubled his portfolio in 60 days. Imagine if you could double your trading account in 60 days by following price and identifying the strongest sectors. Type a 2 in the chat if you would like to do that. If you think and you would like to double your account in 60 days following some of the strongest stocks. And also tell me if you think that's possible following some of the strongest stocks. Let me know. Yes. Okay, awesome. You can definitely do it trading the strongest stocks. Do you understand how to use TradingView to build a watch list of the strongest sectors in the market and kind of go through and find those strong sectors? Let me know. Type a 1 if you know how to go through. Type a 1. Awesome. Amazing. So we'll get a little bit more in depth into this as we go through, guys. But now I want you to do some action items. So if you apply things right away as a trader, that is where everything is going to change. If you go with this information and you do this like in another 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to forget everything we're talking about. So what I want to do is I want to challenge you to start doing this tonight. Do it tonight. If you have the time, please do it tonight. If not tonight, do it tomorrow morning, right? But do it within 24 hours. So go to tradingview.com and identify the top 2 strongest sectors today. Choose 3 stocks from these sectors and chart them on tradingview.com. create a simple watch list of 3 to 5 momentum setups you'll track this week. Now, that is going to be our first pillar, price and finding the right sectors. Now, this is one of the most important pillars that not a lot of traders really look at. And to me, this is where the truth in trading is. It's volume. So this is how to confirm breakout trades using hidden volume patterns. So a lot of people don't know this, but institutional investors have research teams, they have advanced algorithms and billions of dollars to deploy, which puts them at an advantage over retail traders, right? It's very simple. No one's hiding it. Institutions have an advantage over us, right? As retail traders, because they have unlimited funds and research teams and all of these fancy little things. However, if you can follow the volume these investors leave in the market, you can position yourself with the smart money rather than fighting against it. A lot of traders like to time the top, time the bottom, or try to do all these things and wonder why trading doesn't work for them because they don't trade with institutions. They don't trade with institutional flow, with institutional volume. And this is how we're going to do it. So institutions don't buy all their shares at once. Their orders are so large that they have to be filled over days or even sometimes weeks. This creates volume patterns just like chart patterns, right? Like bull flags, wedges could be created within volume, right? Just like price patterns. And this creates these volume patterns in the market that traders like us can recognize and capitalize on. And the moment I started to identify these is when things in my trading really change. If a stock is trading at, let's say, 50 million shares on the day, then shoots up to 250 million traded on the day, that's a 5-time increase in volume. That's clear evidence that funds and institutions are buying because retail traders can't move that level of volume. You have to think about it, right? Are 100 shares or even 500 shares or like $100 are not going to be moving these billion-dollar market cap companies, maybe even some trillion, right? If we can follow how the markets are moving by the institutions that are actually moving them, that is where we're going to make a lot of progress within our trading. So when volume increases, guys, it signals growing interest in the stock and a stronger presence of both buyers and sellers, and most importantly, institutions, because they're starting to accumulate. Again, if you look at a chart like this, right, there's not a lot of volume before the stock starts to make a move up. So we know institutions had to have bought around the time of that big move and really started to make that move. Now, the issue that a lot of traders have is they'll end up getting caught up within the chop. So before that move was made, you could see things were just going sideways. Why would you want to trade there? You're not making any money doing so. You're getting caught in the chop. You're losing out on opportunity cost. And you're just getting yourself in kind of a mental anxiety because you're just waiting for the stock to move, but it's never going to move unless volume comes in. So instead, we wait for volume, right? Because we know that's where the move is going to begin. And then from there, we could start looking for entries on the stock as we start to build that volume, as we start to make that move, and that is where our confirmations are going to be. So here's a good rule of thumb to track volume in the market, right? So we have price going up and volume going up, that is bullish. So whenever you have a big move in the market, whether it's a move up or down, it must be confirmed by volume. So if you have a big move up and you're bullish, right, there has to be volume to confirm the bullish move. If there's a big move down and you're bearish, there has to be a lot of volume to confirm the bearish move. Now, let's say you have a move down, right, but volume is actually lower. That is actually a sign that buyers are looking to get back in and sellers, especially institutions, are not really selling with a lot of aggression because there's no volume to back it up. Right? So another example is if we have price going up, but volume is going down, this is something you'd want to have caution with. You want to be a little bit careful. These are not the breakouts you want to buy. This is, again, why a lot of retail traders struggle is they'll buy just based on excitement. They'll buy based on hype. They'll buy based on FOMO, but not actual confirmation that the big move is happening and that institutions are buying it, right? If an institution is buying, you're on the side of massive money. You're going to most likely make money. That move is most likely going to follow through. Nothing is ever certain in trading, but you have a much higher probability than if, let's say, Johnny or let's say, Tim is buying, 100 shares of the stock because they're not really going to move it, right? If someone like Goldman Sachs is buying it, if a fund like, JP Morgan is buying it, then you have a big confluence that things are really going to start making big moves up. So now that you're probably properly identified where volume is moving in the markets, it's time to find the entries where we can take the highest probability setups. So these are going to be some of your entry points. These are going to be when all the clues in the market basically line up perfectly. So what we want to see for a entry is we need a clean breakout level. This is, again, another area where a lot of traders struggle, is they don't look for clean levels. They look for levels that are all over the place. Price action is all over the place. The best charts are the ones that look perfect, right? That's a common misconception that a lot of people think, right? There's a perfect chart everybody is looking at it. Yeah, that's why it usually makes a very, very nice move up. That's where the cleanest price actions, kind of get their move from. Volume also needs to spike at the right time. So as the stock is breaking that level, that is where volume needs to come in, guys. It has to come in. If you see a breakout and there's no volume, you're probably getting trapped and you're being used as liquidity for a reversal move. That's where a lot of fake outs happen. There's no volume, there's no confirmation, you get trapped, right? You also want to see strong volume confirmation as the stock continues to go up, right? So if the stock is going to continue to go up, we must see the volume continue to remain steady. It doesn't need to decline. If it declines as the stock is going up, that's usually, again, another sign that retail traders are getting trapped and there's going to be a big reversal that happens. What we want to see is actually when the price pulls back, low volume as the stock is pulling in and setting up for its next leg up. That is how you distinguish between a reversal and a pullback that you could trade. The volume. Volume is going to be low on the pullback and volume is going to be high on the reversal. So if you don't know how to distinguish between those two, use that tip and I promise you that's going to help you a lot. So momentum traders practice finding these entry points in the market. Once you learn to spot them, your trading will basically change forever. And you'll start seeing results like this pretty much. This is a trader who used our momentum strategy to make $10,000 in a single day and $70,000 over the last month from only $10,000. Again, these aren't whales that have, $1 million portfolios. This is anybody in this chat right now could have similar results, right? You start seeing results like this. Here's Steven who made $7,000 realized in 3 days. And another result like this. Here's another trader who uses strategies to make over $10,000 in a single week trading. Now, if you could identify the correct entry points in the market with more than 50% accuracy, what would that do for your trades, right? Comment, let me know what you guys think that would do for your trades. Comment in the chat and let me know if you think that would improve the accuracy of your trades. Type yes if you think that'll improve the accuracy of your trades, and you'll be able to know exactly when to enter, exactly when to hold the position as well. And, that's the most important part of trading. Yes. Awesome. All right. So what you want to do, here's what you want to do, guys. You want to confirm setups with proper volume patterns. So you want high volume on moves in trend direction, low volume on the pullback. So you could see right here, we have a big breakout with a ton of volume. That is going to be our confirmation. If you could see something like that, there's a massive base that sets up. That is where you're going to enter, right? And again, a lot of people enter too early. They enter within the chop, they enter within the consolidation, and then they get either chopped out or they get a failed breakout because they don't wait for the volume in the market to confirm the breakout. I urge you guys to go back and study all the big moves that happen in the markets. They always came after big volume. That is going to be your confirmation and pretty much your truth. So who here wants to see an example of a trade that I took that made me $25,000 just this year on just one trade? Just one trade made me $25,000. It's my biggest trade of the year. Let me know if you want me to break down this trade and show you exactly how you could do the same thing. And also this trade right here did 1,000% return on options, right? Meaning you didn't need to put in thousands of dollars to make, any money, right? You could have put in, let's say $100 or $500 and made $5,000 to $10,000 on that. That's a 10x ROI if you can catch a few of these, a year. Now, again, I'm not saying you're going to do this on every single trade, but if you can catch a few of these a year, how much do you think that'll really impact your trading and change the way that you trade? I think it does an absolute, wonder on your trading. So let's get into that trade, guys, and I'll go over exactly how I was able to do that. So this is my trade on the ticker JOBY, JOBY. This was an options trade that I took earlier in the month of July. As the stock, actually, this was in the end of June into early July, as the stock was breaking out of this big base right here. So let's start with the most important thing, guys, right? You always want to start on the daily time frame. So you want to click 1D and then enter. Now you're going to be on the daily time frame on TradingView. You don't want to be on the lower time frames because there's a setup on literally any single ticker on the lower time frame. What a lot of people don't understand is the bigger time frames is where the most money is to be made, because too many people, stay on the lower time frames and look for these small time frame setups instead of waiting for the biggest moves in the market and the ones that can give you these really crazy returns, and being patient and sticking to the best setups instead of paper cutting yourself to death. So you need to start on the daily time frame. Now, another thing we're going to do is we're going to start looking at the volume, right? A lot of people don't do this. So let's start practicing. Look at the volume patterns, right? And see if you can start to identify things that we talked about in the last few minutes. Now you could see right here, as the stock starts to break out, it starts to get a lot of volume on the move up right here. So you get a big, massive volume bar right here. And then you have the stock starting to go sideways, and it starts to show you these strong volume patterns. So you can see every single time the stock goes up, it goes up on a ton of volume. So right here, for example, let's mark this out. You have a lot of volume. Now, as the stock kind of pulls back and starts to consolidate, you can see the volume actually starts to decrease, right? Which is exactly what we want to see, if you remember what we talked about. Now, as the stock starts to go back up again, what do you notice? High volume. And then again, look what it does as it consolidates. Look at what the volume is doing. It's going lower, lower, lower until boom, you have another high volume explosion that happens. Volume increases. You have a breakout of this flag. That is going to be your confirmation on this day right here. So this is where I enter the stock right here. Now you might be thinking, right? I put in, let's say, $1,000. I risk all that $1,000 to potentially make money. No, this is called proper risk management. And what you want to do is never let a trade go to zero. Never let the trade, expire worthless or the stock go all the way down. You want to use a stop loss. And this is what makes the strategy so powerful, because actually, right, in terms of what I risked on this trade, I risked about $2,000 to make $25,000, right? That's a massive disparity in terms of risk to reward. You're not risking your whole position on the trade. So if you buy, let's say, $500 worth of this, a stock, you're not risking that $500. You're actually risking a much lower percentage, maybe $50 to $100 to potentially make 5 to 10x, right? That's how you want to approach trading. Low risk, high reward approach, not, sizing for zero and taking things until, they go to zero and praying that things go up. You want to have proper risk management. So how do we do it? Let's say you enter on this breakout right here as the stock is breaking this key level and this flag. Your stop loss is going to go to the low of the day. Now, if I set up something like this, which is a long position calculator, you could see right here, this is what a risk to reward ratio looks like. So let's say you entered right here as the stock was breaking out of this big base, and then you put your stop loss at the low of the day. You had a 0.48 cent risk, right? So about 5% risk on the actual stock. Now, let's say your first target for this trade was something like this. You could see your risk to reward ratio is 4.37. That is absolutely amazing, because basically what you're risking is, let's say, $25 to make $1,000, right? You're risking $1 to potentially make $4, right? A 4 risk to reward ratio is great. If you can target something like this, or maybe even something a little bit less, right? That's, more realistic, that is absolutely what you want to do. And this is why the strategy works so well, because once stocks actually start to run and break out and make these big momentum swing moves in the market, you could see you don't have to sell, right? A lot of people think, oh, you just sold here and then you're out of the full position. No. So you do something what's called a scaling out strategy. You sell a portion of your position here. You hold the rest. There's no reason to only sell, or ever sell the full position, as long as the trend and the momentum in the market is holding. Now, when it gets to the next target, you could sell a little bit more. And then when it gets to the next, you could sell a little bit more, right? What you're doing is locking in profits methodically. And this is what a lot of gurus and online traders aren't going to teach you. They're going to tell you to full port. They're going to tell you that you have to hold forever, right? It's not true. Right? You can lock in profits methodically with a system, and you can actually have consistent profits. And eventually you'll get in the right place in the right time to catch massive winners like this. That'll make you a 20 risk to reward, meaning you put in $1 and you made $20, right? So for every dollar you put, you make $20 on the risk to reward, which is exactly what you're looking for. And I've caught many of these trades this year, many of these trades last year, and a few of these trades right, with not a ton of risk on, can make you a ton of money over the year. You really only need a few of these. And again, the issue that a lot of traders do have is they start to think, oh, I need to catch every single move in the market. No, you just need a few. You need a few really good ones with conviction, with confidence, and with the right strategy, and you can make money like this every single month trading, right? You can do it, and you can do it confidently, not, knowing that you're full porting every single position, or, being anxious, or doing all these things that, a lot of these people online are teaching you to do that are just not right. You're doing it the right way, and you're finally starting to see some profitability. You're finally starting to see some consistency, and it's all coming from doing things the right way, unlearning all the bad habits that you've learned over the last few years. This is exactly how you're going to do it. We're going to get to a few more examples in the next few minutes, but for now, let's get back into our presentation. So now, right, we are going to see if you guys understand how to track volume in the markets and find the correct entry points for your trades. Let me know if that helped you do that, and if you can start kind of getting an idea on how to do that. Let me know. Amazing. Are you guys enjoying the workshop so far? Please type 1 if you're enjoying the workshop so far, so I know if you're enjoying it. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the workshop. We have a few more things to get through that are going to be super important. Awesome, guys. Again, this is going to make real trade. What are the EMAs I'm using? 821 and 50 EMAs. I'm going to answer a lot of questions at the end as well, guys. So our last pillar is going to be probably our most important one, right? So this is probably the place that gets most traders. You understand the volume, you understand the sectors, you understand the price, but you lack your execution. And just like you, I was in the same exact position because I knew how to, read price action, volume, everything like this. I had the right strategy, but I was never able to execute correctly. And none of it really matters if you don't execute. That's where the money is made, right? The money is not made charting. It's not made looking at, the stocks. It's actually made with your execution, clicking the buttons, locking in the profits, doing all the right things that you have to do as a trader. And by the end of this section, you'll have the execution to trade with confidence without second guessing yourself or letting emotions dictate your decisions. In order to execute a winning trade, you need discipline, right? And again, I challenge every single person in here to start applying this into the next 24 hours. As soon as this week, start becoming a disciplined trader. You owe it to yourself to become disciplined, and this is exactly how you're going to do it. Now, you might be asking, why is it important to be disciplined? What does it even matter, right? Well, disciplined traders have way less emotional trading, less random entries, less account drawdowns, and less missed opportunities. They also have more consistent profits, more strategic planning, more trading confidence, and more market understanding. Now, here's going to be a step-by-step, case on how to actually start building discipline within our trading, guys. So the first thing you want to do is establish your rules and stick to them. You must have a rule and rules for your trading before you go into any of your trades. So most traders rely on emotions to make trades. How many of you literally, go into a trade having a gut feeling that it's going to go up, or getting FOMO, and, you panic sell later, and then maybe it continues to go up, and you're just unsure what you're doing, and you're always kind of like in between, and you're just not confident, right? That was me. And I was literally really good at charting. I was really good at looking at all these things, but I never had confidence in myself and my strategy. And I never even actually understood how to do everything the right way. This is going to be the change that you're going to need to make. So it's important to use a set of rules when trading and live by these rules. Here are some of the rules that you need to establish. So you must have entry rules, right? You must have exit rules. You must have position sizing rules, and you must have risk management rules, right? I'm going to show you examples of rules you can follow to make sure you execute on your trades, guys. So here's some quick examples. So this is when to enter. Volume should be about 5x above average, or at least above the average on the lower timeframes as the stock is breaking out. If the stock is breaking out on the daily, we also want it to be above the average as well. And you also need to see institutional accumulation present on the setup that you're looking at. So if you're looking at a big daily base, the volume patterns must be clean for you to be entering that trade. Now, Your risk reward should also have at least of a minimum of 1 to 3. I like to look for at least over a 1.5 or a 2 RR, but a 1.3 is going to be amazing as well. Anything over a 1.5 will work really, really well. And the reason why we need to have over a 1 risk to reward is because you're never going to be able to, win 100% of the times in trading. Unfortunately, it's the skill that, being able to take losers is literally a skill that you must learn. And a lot of people think, winning every single trade is common in trading. It's not. But what it is common and what could happen is your winners could be much, much, much bigger than your losers. And that is where everything changes, because losers are a part of trading. It's about keeping them small and letting your winners run. You also need to have a clear support level below whenever you enter a trade that you could use as your stop loss, right? Your stop loss shouldn't be too far away from the trade, because you don't want to lose 50% of your, your account on a trade that you took without a stop loss, right? We never want to do something like that. We want to be smart about our entries. So here's where to exit as well. Once your profit targets are reached, you're going to be trimming out of your positions. If your stop loss is hit, no matter what, it doesn't matter if you think the setup still looks good. Your stop loss is hit. It's there for a reason. It's there to protect you. Have the discipline to do it. And again, I really urge you all to start applying this going into the new week. Build them good habits. Try to actually change the things that you know are not working for you as a trader. And you also can look at some volume pattern changes. If you start to notice there's a lot of sell volume, right, as the stock is going down and there's a lot of volume, that's usually a good indication that a big reversal is going to happen. So you can trim out of your position. And then that's, part of institutional selling becoming detected. So we obviously don't want to hold those stocks that are being sold by institutions. Now, here are some position sizing rules that I personally like to use. You never should risk more than 3 to 5% of your total account per trade, guys. If you risk more than 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% of your account, right, you can literally lose 20% of your account in one trade. What if the stock gaps down the next day, has news or something, and you end up losing 20% of your account? Nobody wants to be in that situation. This is why you must size correctly. Size about 3 to 5% of your account. Yes, you could still lose about 3 to 5% of your account, but at the end of the day, a 5% drawdown is not as, life-changing as a 20% drawdown. Anyone can easily come back from a 5% drawdown. 20, 30, 50% drawdowns is where things start to become a little bit harder to come back from. And there's no reason to be taking that much risk within the market, because again, I showed you how you could take a little risk to make a ton of money, right? You don't need to be putting on your whole portfolio to make life-changing money within the markets. It's about being in the right stocks. So never increase position size during a losing streak. This is the easiest way to blow up your account and dig yourself a deeper hole. Instead, focus on becoming profitable again, focus on consistency, focus on doing things the right way. And that is how you're going to get out of your slump or a losing streak if you are in one, right? Scale up position size gradually as your account grows. Don't be that person that goes from, a $1,000 account to a $5,000 account and 5X's your position sizing, because you're going to get emotional. You're not going to be able to trade, the right way. You're going to let fear take over your emotions. There's going to be too many things involved. So how do you scale an account the right way, guys? You do it slowly. You add maybe, 10% every single week or every single month. That way you slowly size up and you're not, doing a 500% increase all at once. And you also want to keep your position sizes consistent across similar setups. You don't want to be that person that takes like a $50,000 position on one trade, then a $1,000 position on the other, because it's the same setup, right? And what ends up happening is maybe one of those setups you'll, lose on, and the other one you'll win, but that's the smaller, size position, and you're still in a massive loss, even though you had one winner, one loser, right? Everything has to be pretty much consistent within your position sizing. So here are some risk management rules I like to use as well. Always set a stop loss before entering a trade. Never risk more than 5% of your account on a single trade. Use a risk to reward ratio of at least 1 to 1.5 for every trade. Avoid revenge trading after a loss, and stick to your predefined rules regardless of emotions or market conditions. That is the most important thing. Stick to your rules. So when you have a set of rules, guys, you aren't gambling. A lot of people ask me, is trading just gambling? Are you just gambling? No, the difference is we have an edge, we have probabilities, and we have risk management. We are managing our risk, so we are not, just throwing money out there hoping and praying. You're using a repeatable system based on math and skill that will give you the best leverage in your trades. This is called an edge. If you have an edge, you are not, gambling anymore. You are a trader, a professional trader. So step number 2 is learn how to take losses. This isn't talked about enough in trading, but losses are a part of the game, and you will lose no matter how much you don't want to lose. Even if you average down on every single trade, eventually one of those is going to go to zero and you're going to blow your account. So the difference is when you use the right strategy, guys, you can still take losses and profit, right? A lot of people think you have to win every single day because they have the wrong strategies. They don't use the right strategies. If you knew they were going to make money every single month or every single year, you wouldn't be trying to make money every single day. You'd be able to accept that some days are going to be losing days. And if you had confidence in your strategy, you'd be able to accept, some days are going to be losers, but others are going to be winners, and they're going to outweigh those losers by a lot, right? So here's an example of how this risk management looks. So let's say your account size is $10,000. Your risk per trade is going to be 2% of the account, which is $200 per trade. And your risk to reward ratio is a 3-to-1. Winning trades make $600. Losing trades lose $200. So this is some of the math behind this, right? So trade 1, you lose, let's say $200. Trade 2, you lose $200. And then let's say 3 and 4, you lose as well. And now you're down about $800. Now, you see most traders will quit after 4 losses in a row. But what they don't understand is if you stick to a winning strategy, even when you lose, you will end up in profit. Your winners need to be bigger than your losers. So here's the breakdown over 10 trades. If you stick to it, right, and if you don't take it as a failure and you actually let the math play out and the probabilities play out, this is how it'll look. So even though you lost 4 trades in a row, let's say you win the next 6, right? And you might think that's a pretty crazy win rate. That's only a 60% win rate. You're telling me, guys, you can have a 50 or 60 or 40% win rate? You definitely can, right? It's probable. You can definitely do it. And letting 4 bad trades discourage you is the wrong thing to do, because after 10 trades, these are some of the results, right? You win 6 trades, you make $3,600. You lose 4 trades, you lose $800. You still make $2,800. Even though you lost 4 trades in a row and you went into $800 of drawdown, you still ended up after 10 trades being up $3,000, right? Which is where the probabilities come into play. So can you see now how important it is to stick to a winning strategy, win or lose, and actually have the right risk management? Type 2 in chat if you understand why risk management is so important within trading. Let me know if you guys understand why it's so important. And let me know if you're going to be applying this into your next, trades and actually managing your risk the right way and doing things the right way now. 2, yes, you guys better do this. You better trade the right way, right? If you're going to use anything as inspiration, use this as inspiration to do things the right way. So when taking trades, the most important thing is not winning or losing. It's having the discipline to stick to a winning strategy so you can get results like this. This is a Trader Insider community who made $2,000 on the day. Would an extra $2,000 a month, guys, change your life? I think for most people, it honestly will. And for me, it probably, will do a lot as well. That's a lot of your bills paid off. That's a lot of stress off your shoulders. Is this something that potentially, change your life? Type 1 if you think it will. Yes. Yep. It will. It will for a lot of people. It will for me as well. I mean, that's something that, making extra money is never a bad thing. And you can get, even results like this. Imagine making an extra $7,000 or an extra $10,000, or even starting to scale that to 20 and 50, from there. And obviously this isn't going to, come all at once, but if you learn the strategy and the process and do things the right way, you're going to be able to scale and grow doing things the right way. Here's another trader in the community, guys, who made over $10,000 in realized profits. And he did it by sticking to a winning strategy as a momentum trader. And again, you could see he didn't risk a ton of money, right? I mean, he had $5,000 in, but he ended up making $15,000 from that $5,000, which is a 3x return, which is absolutely phenomenal, right? And doing things the right way. After you're able to take losses as a trader, you can now move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is going to be very important, and it's going to be journaling your trades. Why is journaling your trades so important? Think of journaling, guys, as a trader, journaling your trades like being a doctor diagnosing a patient. When a doctor diagnoses a patient, they look at previous blood work, they look at their symptoms, they look at past medical history, and the same thing works for trading. You want to look back at your trades and really kind of diagnose exactly what went right, and more importantly, what went wrong within these trades. This way you can come up with solutions so you can improve on the very next trade you place, right? You're never going to know what you do wrong if you don't go back and actually see what you did wrong. That is how you learn, right? And a lot of beginner traders, they get so down on themselves after a loss. Stop getting down on yourself. It's normal, right? This is things that happen to every single trader. Pro traders, they take a bunch of losses a week, a bunch of losses a month. The difference is they don't get down on themselves. They go back, they journal, they see what they did wrong, and they apply it into the next trade to make sure they don't make the same mistakes. If you don't journal your trades properly, you run the risk of being unprepared. It's like an athlete preparing for a big game. All of the work is done in practice. That way, the real game feels easy. The same logic applies for journaling your trades each day. This is called preparation, and preparation is going to give you good results. Who here wants to see how I journal my trades? Type a me in the chat, and I'll show you guys exactly how I journal all my trades and how I go through everything that I kind of journal in terms of the things that I look at when it comes to journaling and exactly what I write down within my trades. Now, again, don't be that person that, journals all your, winning trades only. You want to journal every single trade, right? You need to journal every single trade. And that's because you have to journal the losing trades. You have to journal the winning trades, right? Don't be that person that only journals the ones that you win. So let's take a look, guys, at how we can do this. I'm going to share my screen right now so you could see. Okay, so this is the platform called TradeZella. And you could see within TradeZella, you could see all your trades. So going back, July, June, May, April, and you could see there's going to be losers, there's going to be winners. Overall, we want to build our equity curve this way. So it continues to go up. And we want to journal some of these trades. So using TradeZella, a software, you could do this very easily. You could also literally just have a journal, guys, of like a book and a pen and just go through all your trades. So what I like to do is whenever I have, let's say, a losing trade, I'll go into the losing trade, right? I'll click on it. And what I'll do is I'll start journaling it and I'll take notes. So I'll go on this platform right here. I'll look at my exact executions, how the chart played out, where I entered, where I exited. So you could see using this platform, you could see my exact entry right here. If we go on the daily time frame, you could see my exact entry. You could see my exact exit and how the trade played out. And then you can go all the way down and then you could start journaling the trade as well. So you can go on notes right here. You could start going like setup, right? That's something that I like to journal a lot on my trades. So setup, what was I looking at for the setup on this trade? So this one had a clear bull flag that was setting up on the daily time frame, right? Now, from there, you can start journaling your entry, right? What was my entry on this trade? What was I looking at, right? I was looking at for this trade a breakout of a key level. And then from there, you can go and you can journal your exits. You can do exit. Why did I exit this trade? What was I looking at when I was exiting this trade? Was it, something that I usually look for? Or was it, a stop loss that I maybe didn't adhere to? And then you could start tagging your mistakes. This is what I love about TradeZella. Again, you could do this on a notebook or a pen. A paper and pen, and you can literally just, see exactly what mistakes you made. So these are the ones that I have. I got bored, I chased, I did not cut losses quickly enough. And these are mistakes. You can start tagging these setups so that when you go back and review your reports right here, you can see exactly what you did right and what you did wrong. And last but not least, what I like to do is I make playbooks for all my trades. So what I do is I kind of go through these in terms of the entry that I took on the setup, and I see which ones have the best data, guys. You need to have data for your trading. If you don't know what's going right and what's going wrong, you're going to continue to do more of the wrong thing. So for example, you can see my data right here. Every single winning trade that I had, or every one of these entry models that I took, this one is the best. This is the one that has made me the most money. So why would I waste my time, taking some of these other entry models, especially something like this that I'm down all time about $10,000 on? Why would I ever want to take another trade like this when trades like this have been working for me, right? This is what you want to do. You want to be able to journal. You want to be able to go through all of these and be able to see what strategy works for you, which entries work for you, what doesn't work for you, what works good for you, all these things. And you're going to apply more of what works well and do less of what doesn't work, right? Very simple. It's nothing too complicated. So let's get back into the presentation. And again, you could use TradeZella. You could use whatever you're comfortable with to do this. I like to use TradeZella. In my opinion, it's one of the easiest, ones to use, but you could use anyone that you guys like as well. So let's get straight into this. Again here, guys. So do you agree that becoming a disciplined trader will help you execute on winning trades? Let me know if you believe that. Type a 1 in the chat if you believe that that is going to be able to help you become a profitable trader and actually execute the right way, guys. Let me know. Yep. Okay, awesome. Can you see that executing on your trades becomes easy when you have a winning strategy? Type strategy in the chat if you could see that. Type strategy and tell me if you want to learn a little bit more about the strategy, right? Awesome. So this is going to be a little bit of a 60-second recap, guys. I know we went over a lot of information, so I'm just going to recap everything that we went over so that you can write it down or you can have it in your head. I showed you how to journal your trades like a doctor. I showed you how to track the strongest sectors in the market, and I showed you the importance of volume as a momentum trader. Now, and I also showed you obviously thousands of other traders I taught the momentum trading strategy to. These are traders just like you. They didn't have huge accounts with $100,000 liquid. They all used my strategy to become a momentum trader. And now with the information on this workshop, you now have the information to do it as well. We are set to see one of the biggest years in the market, especially with the recent AI boom. Guys, this is a once in a decade, maybe even more opportunity with the AI technology we're getting right now in the markets. This is why you're seeing companies starting to get incredible valuations. The first ever $4 trillion companies. We're getting insane moves in the market, insane themes. You need to be able to take advantage of this almost once in like a generation or decade type of move in the market. Same thing like people were able to take advantage and build fortunes of in the dot-com bubble. I personally believe this is even bigger. And you want to be set up to be able to do this. So while most traders are dealing with guessing when to enter and exit trades with no clear strategy, chasing hot tips or market hype only to lose money, overtrading and burning out from staring at charts all day, struggling with confidence due to repeated losses and lack of direction, momentum traders are more profitable than ever in today's choppy markets. Here's a trader in our community that's up 60% on the year in his trading account. That's beating the S&P by 6x, which is honestly very, very, very hard to do. And Warren Buffett once said, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. You've probably heard this quote many times. Maybe you felt this, your friends, family thinking you're crazy for trading, or hearing online that the markets are not in a good place or that you're gambling or doing, the wrong things and you should stick to a traditional path. But while most run, and most people are scared and run away from the markets, momentum traders take advantage, especially of this AI boom that we're seeing. They use the fear to their advantage, pulling 5, even 6 figures in profits every single month and every single year. Now, the stage is set, right, for traders like you to dominate the markets. The only question is, will you be ready to capitalize it? Type 1 if you're ready to be a momentum trader and capitalize on the markets. Let me know if you think you'll be able to capitalize on this. We have an absolutely massive move coming in the markets that we need to capitalize on, guys. Let me know if you're ready to capitalize and type in 111. Awesome. So did you guys find today's workshop easy and actionable to understand? I have a few questions for you, so just type yes in the chat. If yes, did you believe having a clear plan and discipline could help you achieve consistent profits? Yes. Okay. Can you see why momentum trading is the best trading strategy to scale your trading account? Let me know. And are you ready to stop feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or uncertain and start trading with confidence and consistency? I know you guys want to be consistent and confident. That is the most important thing when it comes to trading. Would you guys like to see how we can help you become a consistently profitable momentum trader in the next few months? Let me know. Type yes in chat. Yes. Let's go. Awesome, guys. I'm so ready for this. So now, if you're still here, you might be thinking, right? I can figure this all out on my own in the next 1 to 2 years. And you can kind of be like me when I first started, just losing money for years on end, not making a single penny, which is totally fine. Or you might be thinking, I want to figure this out as fast as possible with a structured system and accountability. What group are you guys in, 1 or 2? If you're in group 2, type 2 in the chat and let me know if 2 is the group that you are in, guys. Type 2 in chat if you're ready to take advantage. Awesome. So if you're in group 2, I'm going to share an opportunity with you because what I showed you today was very valuable. It's pretty much only the tip of the iceberg. Even if we had 6 hours together instead of 60 minutes, it's going to be hard, if not impossible, to create lasting change, to give you the full extent and benefit of all that I and my team could give you. Now, one training isn't going to go about creating the change in your life that you want and deserve. You need more than that. You need a team to hold you accountable with a proven system that has worked for hundreds of others, no matter the market conditions. Traders like this is Bob, who used momentum trading strategy to put a down payment on 5 Section 8 properties that will now pay him for the rest of his life. So if you have the goal of taking earned income from trading and investing it into other assets, this strategy could help you achieve that goal. And traders like Hemze, who had no clue what options was, and now he makes $20,000 each month as a momentum trader. And this trader who joined the options cartel and increased his account 24%. So you may not make thousands of dollars, right away from the market each month, guys. But let me ask you a question. If you could increase your portfolio value just by 20%, do you think that would be worth it? Type a yes in chat if you think that would be worth it. 20%, that's beating the S&P, right? Let me know if you think that would be worth it. Even if you're not making, millions of dollars, because we need to be realistic. Right now, you have 2 choices, guys. Option A, you could use what I've shared with you so far, part ways and be stuck in the same place, but we both know you deserve better than that. Option B is you could give me permission to play an active role in your success and take a responsibility for your outcomes and hold your hand to becoming a profitable momentum trader. So if you choose option B, this is what I have in store for you. Let me know if you choose option B. Let me know. Type B in chat, guys. Let me see some B's. Awesome. Let me introduce you guys to the inner circle. So this is the exact system I wish I had when I was stuck chasing alerts, blowing up accounts, wondering if I ever would trade confidently on my own, right? This isn't just another, trading course where you get put into, some lessons and you go through this and you look through this and you're done with it. It's a complete transformation system. It's a step-by-step blueprint that's already helped traders turn around their, trading careers from unprofitable, from struggling to becoming consistent, reliable, and profitable traders. This is without question the #1 trading mentorship in the world. And honestly, I don't even think it's really close. Inside the inner circle, we don't just hand you information. We give you a proven swing trading system, crystal clear setups, powerful mentorship, and a real community. So you never have to guess, gamble, or go at it alone again. We even do the heavy lifting, right? So we do all the heavy lifting. We help you dial in your setups. You get live calls, screen shares, and real-time guidance, plus the exact tools and frameworks we use to spot high probability breakouts again and again. Imagine waking up every single day, opening your charts and actually knowing what to do with complete confidence, right? No more second guessing. No more, going through and getting anxious when you take setups. You know that things are going to work and that you're going to have the profitability that you're searching for. Imagine growing your account one trade at a time without the stress, confusion, or emotional spirals that used to sabotage your progress. The TOC Inner Circle is for traders who are done winging it, for those ready to stop surviving and start thriving, with a real plan and a proven system and a team in their corner. So what is inside the program, guys? So some more information, you get access to our in-depth momentum trading module. So most traders are stuck in a loop, watching random YouTube videos, trying to, put together the strategies that never were meant to work side by side. It's honestly confusing. You're going through a bunch of, nonsense online. You're trying to find something that actually works. It's overwhelming. And worst of all, it breeds inconsistency, and it breeds something that, I did when I first started trading, which was being stuck, not knowing what to follow and what to look at. And that's why we created the momentum modules. They walk you through step by step, through the entire exact system, the same one that's helped countless students stop gambling and start trading with confidence. These modules are the foundation of your transformation. And once you complete them, you never see the market the same way again. We're also going to be doing weekly group coaching calls. You'll also get access to our 4 weekly group coaching calls. And this is where the real transformation happens, because let's be honest, guys, watching videos or, watching a course isn't going to do, really anything or have lasting, improvements on your trading. What most traders are missing is not information. You miss, the application of the information, and it's real-time feedback, right? Clarity, accountability, and guidance from someone who's actually walked the path and knows how to get you through it. That's why we host these coaching calls 4 times a week. We go live to break down charts, answer your questions, review trade setups, and help you fine-tune your strategy in real time. And if you can't make it, no problem. You always get the replay so you never miss a single thing. We're also going to have trade review submission forms. So most traders repeat the same mistakes again and again, not because they want to, but because they have no clear way to evaluate what they want, like where they went right or wrong, right? That's where this changes everything. You'll submit your trades for personalized feedback. We'll break them down for you piece by piece. It's basically like me and my team holding your hand and actually telling you exactly what you need to change within your trading so that you can go out and be able to do this for the rest of your life and learn the skill and be able to get everything that you want down in your trading career. Now, you also are going to get a profit protection calculator. This is going to be a total game changer. You just plug in your entries, your target zones, and risk, and in seconds, you're going to have a clear breakdown of exactly when and how to scale out, move stops, and lock in profits without choking the trade. This is for traders that get out of trades too early, for traders that maybe get out before the move actually even happens, or they don't stick to their stop loss. This gives you rules. It gives you structure. It gives you confidence. Instead of panicking mid-trade, you stick to the plan and let the system do the heavy lifting. It's like having a pro-level trade manager in your pocket, keeping your emotions in check and your execution razor sharp. You're also going to get access to our exclusive private Discord community, which honestly might be one of the best, valuable parts of the entire program. In my opinion, it is. This is one of the hardest things about becoming a profitable trader. It's doing it alone, right? Doing it alone, having your friends and family not understand anything you're going through, telling you that it's never going to work, which is what they always do. And you're not alone in a community like this, right? If no one understands, around you understands the journey, it can really, really feel like isolating. This is why we built this community, to surround you with like-minded traders who understand exactly what you're going through, speak your language, and are on the same mission and life path as you, right? They want to actually genuinely make this work. You're also going to get a dedicated growth advisor. This is going to be, somebody who is able to monitor everything that you're doing. And this isn't just any other mentor. It's a trader just like you who's already pulling in 5 to 6 figures a year from the markets. Most courses will leave you to figure it all out on your own. And inside the inner circle, we're in your corner, making sure you hit your trading goals and stay on track. And we're going to make sure, right, that we're watching your trades, holding you accountable, making sure that you're doing everything that you need to do and you need to do to become a profitable trader. And actually, one of our advisors paid off $80,000 in medical debt using the exact strategies you'll learn in this program. And he now makes 6 figures a year trading, which is an absolutely insane transformation. So this is, some questions that I get a lot when it comes to trading. Sean, how do I know this will work for me? Right? So instead of, just telling you it's going to work, I'm going to show you the data. I'm going to show you the results. So it worked for traders like this who made $10,000 in a single day. Imagine what $10,000 in a single day can honestly do for you, right? It worked for traders like this who made $1,000 in a single week. And it's worked for thousands of other traders like you who are now earning 5 and even 6 figures a year from trading. Whether it's a part-time job or a full-time, career, these strategies are proven to work and it can work for you. Type a 1 in the chat if you believe the system can work for you guys. Let me know if you truly believe if you apply and use the system correctly, you can scale your account and you can actually start growing your account, becoming profitable. Type a 1 in chat. Awesome, guys. So today I'm doing the official launch of the Inner Circle. You guys have probably heard me talk about this a lot. This is an exclusive, mentorship, and it's exclusive to the people who joined the live workshop today. You're going to get first dibs to join this. So we have over 3,000 people on the waiting list for a public launch today, and this is limited to pretty much only 100 traders, right? So if you've been a part of any of my other, mentorships or products, first of all, you know how good they are. Second of all, you know how serious I am about keeping things exclusive and limited because I'm putting my reputation on the line, and I want to make sure that every single person I work with, we actually do get results, right? So with over 3,000 people on our waiting list, we pretty much cap this to 100 traders. So if you're a serious trader who's ready to invest in themselves and change your life, here's what you should do next, right? So I'm going to drop a link in the chat to book a call with my team, guys. This is going to be where you get first come, first serve. So these might, book out. Just make sure you book these out quickly right now. They might book out if you don't get into the call. I'm going to explain exactly what the call is going to go over and how it's going to look. But over the next 3 days, I've set some time aside for you to speak with members of our team. These are calls for us to decide if we believe you would be a great fit for the Inner Circle. And my team has limited availability. So over the next few days, unfortunately, not everyone is going to be able to schedule a call. It is first come, first serve. So try to get in, as quick as possible. We're dropping the link in right here, so you'll be able to see in the chat right there. So once you schedule your call, you will see this 6-step page, right? Now, actually, before we do this, guys, comment I'm in if you scheduled the call. Comment I'm in if you were able to book the call. It might go really quickly, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it, but comment I'm in if you were able to schedule the call using the link. Comment I'm in. Let me know if you guys are able to get into the call, able to schedule that call. I'm in. Awesome. Okay, amazing. Yeah, these are going to go pretty quick. So make sure you guys get into the link quickly. And I'm going to explain exactly how this is going to look, right? So once you schedule your call, you will see the 6-step page, guys. All of these steps are super important for you to complete before your call so you can have as much context about what to expect in the inner circle and on your call. Make sure to watch this video and, watch this, full video. And please only schedule a call, guys, if you're serious about joining the inner circle. And once you scroll down the page, you're going to see this video. This video is a complete overview of the inner circle and what to expect when you join the program. Please make sure to go through this entire video before your call with our team. This is going to go through everything you need to know of what's actually inside the inner circle, what you get, right? What the weekly calls look like, what the one-on-one calls look like, right? That's going to go through everything. Now, if you scroll further down the page, you'll see these videos. These are 90-second rapid-fire videos that will give you more answers to the most commonly asked questions people have before they join the inner circle. So make sure to watch these videos in full so you can get your questions answered before joining the call. When you scroll further down the page, you'll see this section. When people are trying to make a decision to join the inner circle, they're going to have a bunch of questions about me, my company, if what I do is even legit, right? And in these 3 videos, I share my personal broker statement. So I promised this earlier on, guys. If you book a call, right, you'll be able to go through, you'll be able to see these the proof that I did going through my statements, showing you that I am 100% doing what I say I'm doing. And I share some information about my company as well. So you can go through, you can read the reviews, you can see what, people and some of the results that we've gotten over the last few months and last few years. And, these are real results from real people and verified reviews. And one of the last steps is just to confirm your call. You'll get an email from me. Make sure to add the call to your Google Calendar and save the time and date so you don't forget. You'll also receive a series of emails before your call. I want you to know that these emails aren't spam, though. The only reason we are sending these emails is because we know a ton of you are going to have questions. So we want to make sure we answer the questions as thoroughly as possible so you can make the best decision for you. You'll also receive texts and a phone call from my team to get to know a little bit more about you before the call. If you receive a call from my team, just know they are reaching out to confirm details about your call. We're not spamming you. We're just trying to make sure that you don't miss the call if you're serious about joining the the inner circle, guys. Once you schedule a call with my team, I will put you in a group chat with one of our student success coaches. In that group chat, make sure to confirm your call and let my team know any questions that you have. The most successful students we've had all engaged in this with the student success coaches, guys, and let them know that you're ready to start. You're excited for your call and should be absolutely amazing. Now, what are the objectives of this call? The first thing is to understand your current trading situation, challenges, and goals. What are you looking to do, right? You're looking to scale your account. Are you a beginner trader? These are things you want to know before you get into the inner circle. Create a personalized action plan tailored towards your needs, how we're going to be able to do what you want to do to become a profitable trader, and answer any questions about the inner circle or next steps that you might have. Now, this call is for you if you're ready to invest in yourself to become a consistently profitable trader. You're tired of guessing and want a proven system that eliminates confusion and builds confidence. You're committed to learning and applying strategies that lead to long-term success. Once your call is booked, guys, type in the chat, I'm in the chat so my team can confirm your spot. Type I'm in. Let me know if you guys were able to book. I'm in. Awesome. Let me know if you guys are able to book. If you're not able to book, let me know if you're not able to book. We might be out of spots, but let me know. See if I can open up some more. I'm in. Awesome. Okay, amazing, guys. I'm going to give also 5 exclusive bonuses for everyone that books a call today and joins the inner circle, right? So this is something I'm never probably going to be able to do again. And the bonus number one, which is probably my most exciting one, I've been working on this for a while. It's a ChatGPT bot, Sean AI. When you join the inner circle, you'll get access to Sean AI, my personal GPT powered assistant that's basically trained on over $1 million worth of trading experience, setup, psychology, and execution. It's customized with everything I know about profitable trading. And this tool alone can shortcut your decision making. It can help you find the strongest stocks. It can help you set up a plan for your trades. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be like a bot that tells you when to buy and sell. That's not what we want to do here, guys. We want to teach you how to fish. We want to teach you the skill, and we want to give you the tools to be able to do this the right way. It's like kind of having me in your pocket 24/7, and it's only available inside the inner circle. And this is going to give you the exact guidance you need to kind of reinforce the things that you are currently doing. But it's not going to be a trading bot. So don't think it's like going to give signals and stuff. That's not what we want to do. It's going to be able to help you enforce everything that you already know, help you find maybe some stocks, find the setups. It can rate your setups. It can grade your setups. There's so many cool things that this thing can do. And I've been testing it out for the last few months. It's absolutely amazing. And AI is here to stay. And if you could use it to help your trades, you'll have an unfair advantage over other traders. You're also going to have a weekly sector watch list. Every week, you'll be able to get access to my weekly sector watch list, a clear, actionable breakdown of where the real momentum is flowing in the markets, guys. This is the exact analysis that I personally use to decide what to focus on, what to ignore. So you're not wasting time scanning, a bunch of stocks and finding random tickers, hoping one of them sticks or something like that. It's about having a plan. A pro level game plan handed to you before the week even starts. And this bonus alone could save you hours every week and instantly sharpen your focus so you can trade like a pro. And again, this is only for people that book into the calls. We have found that there's a direct correlation between speed and success with our strategy. So if you could schedule your call today and join the academy, you'll also get access to bonus number 3. So because our program actually works, when you start making money as a trader, you're going to need a tax professional to make sure that you're not, getting absolutely destroyed on taxes. So when you join TOC Inner Circle, you'll also get access to our exclusive CPA. And because I'm so confident that anybody that joins us is going to make money, this is what I'm offering, because you have to make money to be able to pay taxes when it comes to trading, right? So you'll get a group coaching call, a live session where a CPA will break down the exact tax strategies used by 6-figure traders to keep more of what they earn. I get a ton of tax questions. A lot of people always ask me, like, what do you do with taxes at the end of the year? So I decided to make this a bonus because once you earn money in the markets, taxes are usually what everyone is kind of worried about, right? So getting this level of information from a CPA is something that you'd have to pay like thousands of dollars for an accountant. And this is all going to be available for free in the inner circle. You're also going to get bootcamp recordings from the first 2 bootcamps that we did that have helped a ton of traders turn profitable. And you're going to get access to the lifetime recordings. And a few months ago, I held 2 live bootcamps to validate my momentum trading strategies and help traders become profitable live. Each trader paid thousands of dollars to be there live. And tonight only, if you join the inner circle, you'll get access to those recordings for free. You'll see exactly how I analyze the market, structure my trades, coach my students through their sticking points all in one place. Now, this is probably going to be the most valuable thing. And honestly, for something like this, a one-on-one, I could, go out there and charge like 5-6 figures, but this is going to be included within the inner circle. When you join the TOC inner circle, you're not just tossed into a course and left to figure it out. You're actually going to kick things off with a one-on-one call with me. So a lot of people have been asking me to do this. Can I do a one-on-one call with you? Can I pay you for an hour of your time? This is going to be all included in the inner circle. So it's going to be a full comprehensive, system of everything. And you're going to have access to me when we kick this off. So you're going to be able to speak with me one-on-one, identify where you're stuck at, where you want to be as a trader, how we can get you there. And most programs will offer, group calls, some offer email support, but very few give you direct access to the mentor right at the start. This is how serious I am about your success. But bonus is only available to those who book and a call today and join the inner circle, guys. This offer will never be made again. I'm never going to do one-on-ones again. So if you ever wanted to do a one-on-one, this is probably one of the only chance. Once your call is booked, guys, comment I'm in the chat so my team can confirm your spot. I want to make sure that we can confirm that your spot is locked in. Type I'm in the chat. Let me know if you guys were able to get in. If not, let us know as well if you're not able to book one. So what's the price? A lot of you are probably going to be asking this. So anything worth building requires an investment of your time and resources, but you get to determine the speed of your return, right? So this is a trader that we had in the first bootcamp. You could see he said, it might honestly be the best investment I made in myself. He understood his own personality, understood exactly how to trade the right way, and now he made the investment back 10x, if not 20x. And he's probably going to have the skill for the rest of your life. So what's worth it to you for, an investment for a skill that you can do for the rest of your life? We have different options depending on your specific situation. Because not every single person is the same, right? We might have some traders that are beginner. We might have some that are intermediate. We're all looking to, scale differently. So if you schedule a call down below, and my team, they're going to walk you through the best options that are suited for you. So exactly what you need. And the price point might be different depending on that. But let's look at if you invested this elsewhere, right? Let's just take little thought exercises, right? You can invest in the stock market and hope for a 10% annual return. But the thing is, your trading skills compound further than the stock market. So instead of investing in the S&P 500, invest in yourself so you can earn far more than 10% gains you can make on a yearly basis. You also need to throw in a ton of money, into the markets to make quick money. But if you don't have a ton of, capital already, investing in yourself is going to be the best ROI, because you're going to be able to make more and more money to be able to actually invest more money into the markets to compound later down in life. So a lot of you might be in signal, groups, and you could spend your money on another trading signal group. But here's the problem. You're just copying their trades, right? What if they get hit by a bus and they don't show up to work the next day and they're not on the signal group, right? You have no idea why the trades work, right? At the moment the group shuts down, your trading strategy disappears. You're not learning. You're not growing. You're just following. And that's not how consistent traders are made. No great trader, right, that's made a fortune off the markets, that's made millions, hundreds of millions, generational wealth, they didn't do it following somebody else. They all carved their own path. And that's what we're here to help you do in the Inner Circle. So we don't do signals here. We teach you how to think like a trader so you can spot the setups, take the trade, manage it with full confidence on your own, because the goal isn't to rely on me. The goal is to trade, for you independently and profitably, and for life even, right? To do this forever, to learn the skill forever. And you can also, invest this into real estate, right? But let's be real, that comes with a lot of baggage. You need a big upfront investment. You're dealing with, banks, tenants, maintenance, markets. And even then you're locked in. It's not liquid, it's not fast, and you're tied to one location. With trading, you don't need to worry about overhead tenants. You're not tied down to one place. You have the locational freedom. You have the freedom to work whenever you want, right? You can, hop on, let's say later on in the day and work. If you miss, let's say the open, or you had something to do, you can always be able to make money in the markets. And that's the most attractive thing to me when it comes to trading. That's why I really stuck to it. And I really wanted to make trading work for me, because I wanted to be able to do this from anywhere in the world, right? I can do this from Europe. I can do this from Asia. I can travel the world. I can, go around everywhere and still work and make money at the same time and pay all these things off with trading. It's incredible what you could do with trading. So we never want finances to get in the way of people who are truly ready to change their lives and ready to work with us. So if you need any assistance, we partnered up with some financing options to get you inside of the Inner Circle, depending on your credit score. So schedule a call down below to see if you're a fit. If you still, need assistance, we might be able to make something work. Never let your finances get, in the way of a potential life-changing opportunity. That's how I always like to think about it. If you genuinely think this could change your life, don't let, something like that get in the way of it. So on top of that, I want to make this opportunity even more special for you guys. This is one of the things I'm probably most excited for myself. Everyone who joins the Inner Circle will be able to attend our next in-person mastermind. So a few of you that are in this webinar might have already, been in the mastermind that we did in Miami. That was probably one of the most fun and, best things for networking and actually learning, the process and everything and applying it in real life that we've ever done. And I want to do way more of those. I want to do 3, 4, 5 of those, throughout the year, and do them in different locations and stuff like that. If you join the Inner Circle, guys, you'll be able to, join these, right? And it's not going to be open to anybody else other than the Inner Circle. We're really building a tight-knit community here. And this isn't like the boot camps where it's like 30 days and then, that's it. This is going to be a long program that's going to give you real results. So at this mastermind, you'll be able to network and meet everyone that you spend time with inside of the Inner Circle. Community is really what helps us all grow as profitable traders. So everyone who joins the Inner Circle is more than welcome to attend the next exclusive mastermind. And again, this is not a get rich quick scheme, and I'm not promising you millions next year. And I don't want you to think that, right? If someone is doing that, they're scamming, right? You're never going to make millions in a year, right? Doing something and just learning it. But what I'm giving you is the most proven blueprint for turning the markets into consistent profits using momentum trading. Along with the coaching community and tools, you need to implement it as quickly and confidently as you are ready, right? And go with your own flow and confidence, right? My job is not to convince you that this will work. We have the data to prove that it does work, right? That's why I'm so confident in it. My job is to find the people that are most likely to use this system effectively, help them change their lives, because to me, that's what truly gives me purpose. I changed, one life. If you guys want to go and look at this, the Steven interview that I did on YouTube, a trader that was $80,000 in medical debt. He was on his last legs. And he joined the program. He was able to change his whole life around, even to the point where now he's working with us as a coach, from how well he was able to, get the markets down and get the strategy down. And he's literally living proof that this is real, right? And if you really want it bad enough, you can make it happen. And to recap everything you get in the Inner Circle, guys, we're going to have weekly group coaching calls, in-depth training modules, trader view submission forms, profit protection calculator, dedicated growth advisor. And today only, if you sign up for the call and the Inner Circle, you're going to have access to Sean AI, which is one of the most, hyped up tools that I've been working on for the past few months. You're going to get a weekly sector watch list, CPA group coaching call, bootcamp recordings, and the most important thing is the one-on-one onboarding call. I mean, you're literally going to have a one-on-one session with me. If I was able to have a one-on-one session with one of my mentors, a few years ago, I probably would have been profitable much faster than what it took me. So this is a few FAQs, guys. What am I even doing on these calls? So when I started trading, I joined a community that was ran pretty poorly. There wasn't a lot of support. There wasn't a lot of interactions. And I know there are hundreds of trading communities out there, but I want to make sure the 100 traders who join the Inner Circle are personally vetted by my team. I'm investing my time, money, and resources and reputations to ensure that you get the best results possible. And that's why I have to make sure I work with people that are genuinely serious about doing this and changing their lives. How big of an account do I need to make a meaningful return from the Inner Circle? So a lot of people might be wondering, right? You can honestly start trading with $100, but to see faster success, obviously it's going to help if you have a bit more capital. Now, the number that I think is going to work the best is about $2,000 to $3,000 of capital to start off. Obviously, if you want to scale, that's a little bit different. However, this program is honestly not limited to traders with a certain account size. We've had people in the bootcamp with a $500 account, and they were able to grow that to $5,000 to $10,000 in the last 6 months. So you can have a smaller account and you can still see some amazing results. And actually, if you're a beginner, I urge you to start with a little bit less capital, because you're risking a little bit less as you're growing. And then once you have the foundation down and we help you get to where you want to be in terms of confidence, you could start scaling up, and we'll help you do that. That's the amazing thing about this program. 6 months. So we're going to be able to help you through the whole journey. If you're a beginner trader, we're going to take you from beginner to intermediate to scaling. If you're an expert trader, we're going to help you get from expert to scaling to staying there, right? So we're always going to be able to help anyone who wants to get to whatever point in trading you want to get, because everyone is different. Everyone has different personalities and everyone has different lives as well. So what is the expected time commitment to be in the Inner Circle? The Inner Circle is designed for both full-time and part-time traders, guys. So if you have school or work, don't worry. All the calls will be recorded, and we've scheduled 3 calls per week to ensure you can attend at least one. Also, keep in mind, we're going to have one-on-one calls, right? So you're going to be able to schedule the one-on-one calls whenever it fits your schedule. So you don't have to worry about your schedule, messing this opportunity up. You're going to be able to schedule whenever works for you because it's one-on-one. So you're also going to be paired directly with a coach. So on top of having calls with me, you will have calls with your coaches and personalized support so you never feel lost. And will the training and education be taught directly by you or another team member? Everything is going to be taught directly by me, guys. So you'll have the opportunity to ask me questions live, get personalized reviews on your trades, and receive answers tailored to your specific situation. Additionally, you'll be paired with a coach for accountability, ensuring you stay on track, execute inside the Inner Circle, and get support for any questions you have throughout the day. Will I be able to do this while working a full-time job? So all sessions will be 100% recorded, so you can review them if you miss anything due to your job. We've also scheduled 4 group coaching calls each week, and we're going to have live trading. So there's going to be different times that are going to be available to join. So I'm sure you're going to be, able to make to at least one or two of them, which is kind of really all you need. Plus we're going to have the one-on-ones that you're going to be able to schedule. So this should fit to everybody's schedule. That's what we learned a lot from the boot camps. And this is why we're doing it this way. So everyone, schedules can work really well for this. And lastly, our coaches are going to be available pretty much 24/7 to provide you support and keep you on track. So if at this point, guys, you're still hesitant to schedule a call and speak with our team, I really want you to ask yourself, do you have a clear system for finding high probability trades without relying on random alerts or indicators? Are you entering and exiting trades with total confidence, or are you second guessing each trade? And do you have a repeatable process that can actually grow your account without staring at charts all day, right? If you don't have any of these things, the answer is to work with somebody who does, right? Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of our time, said it's good to learn from your mistakes, and it's actually better to learn from other people's mistakes, right? And right now you have the chance to learn from all the mistakes I've made, so you don't have to go through the same thing. You don't have to be in that cycle of losing trades every single day, of months of doing something right and then one trade going bad and blowing up your account. That's what I was stuck in for 2 years for no reason. If I had an opportunity like this, I would have been able to do things the right way. So go ahead and schedule a call with my team. And again, if you're still hesitant, it's just a call, right? You're not committed to do anything on the call, right? You don't have to join. You could just get more information, see if it's a right fit for you. Tell us what your story is, right? And tell us how we can help you. And we'll see if that's something we can potentially do. So I don't see a single reason, if you're interested in something like this, you shouldn't book this call. Make sure to book the call, guys. Make sure to book the call if you haven't yet. That's going to be super, super helpful for you. And just for sticking through the end, guys, if you're still interested in the Options Cartel blueprint that I made, I promise you guys the free gift. So if you want access to the blueprint, DM me on Instagram at Sean Rechman, guys, and I'll send that right over. So DM me on Instagram and I'll send that right over. Awesome, guys. So I promised you guys a Q&A at the end. So let's do some, let's do some Q&As here. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Go into the Q&A only. Go into the Q&A only chat, guys, and type in your questions. If you have any questions, please type in Q&A and I'll go over those. Hi, Sean. Are you using any volume indicators to identify the volume increase? Yes. So let me share my screen with you guys and show you exactly how we do this. So look at this really quickly, right? When you're looking at the volume, right, you're only going to be wanting to look at the volume cloud. So what this is if you go on TradingView, you can click right here. And then from there, you can go to style and add what's called a volume MA. So now when the volume is above, so when it kind of peaks above that, now you know volume is high. So you don't have to guess, right? If volume is high, you can just wait for it to get above that spot. That's the most important thing, right? So that's what we're going to be looking for. I've never traded options before. Do you prefer the leverage of options over normal margin leverage? Yeah, I do. I mean, as a trader who doesn't have a ton of capital at the beginning, that's what really drew me to options. And I figured, you can use both, right? You don't have to limit yourself to only one. What I like to do is use options more so as kind of like an income, and then swinging shares and like longer term investments to really make like exponential returns over like 5, 10, 20 years, right? Holding some of the best companies. I'm in. Awesome. Let's do it. I can't wait to get started, guys. This is going to be absolutely amazing. Like we've been working on this program for, I don't even know at this point, like maybe 7 months nonstop. You guys saw, I haven't had a program like this in 6 months since the beginning of the year. And it's because I really wanted to perfect this. So I can't wait to get started. It's going to be amazing. What's the cost? So yeah, like I said, we're going to break everything down on the actual call. It really depends, right? It depends on what you're looking for in terms of your trading. Are you a beginner looking to scale and become an intermediate trader and get a idea of the foundation? Or are you a trader who has a lot of capital and you're looking to really scale and get to like, 6-7 figures a month or a year in trading, there's going to be a difference, right? So if you book the call and you tell us what your situation looks like, and that's how we can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. But it's going to be a low 4-figure investment. That's kind of the beginning of how it's going to look. Am I going to do a Sunday scan? Yeah, after this, I'm going to do a Sunday scan in the Discord. And again, keep in mind, right, when you schedule the call, there's no cost at all. You're just scheduling the call. So you can go in there and you could see if it's the right fit for you. But obviously, be serious when you're joining. And then we can kind of give you all the information, right? So it comes at no cost to schedule the call. If you're interested in moving forward, then you can go ahead and move forward. But no one's going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be here to help you guys no matter what. If you pay me, if you don't pay me, I'm here to help everybody out. And if I can change at least 1, 2, 3 lives, that's going to make me, the happiest person in the world and genuinely give me purpose. So I'm here to help no matter what. But I think the program is going to be absolutely amazing. And it's really going to, change lives in there. Even if you didn't make it into the inner circle, will the Discord be the same? Yeah, it'll be 100% the same. Discord will be the same. Can you go over how calculating the risk to reward and how to identify stop loss? Yeah, so calculating risk to reward is going to be based on your entry and your exits, right? So let's say, for example, I'm looking at this trade for this for tomorrow. The ticker is Tesla. I'm looking for a breakout trade on this. You can see it's got a massive base setting up here on the daily time frame. You have a big resistance level right here. So I'm looking to enter this one as it breaks 335. So let's say tomorrow the stock opens up, let's say at 330 right here. It breaks out above that level tomorrow. I enter right there, right? So now my stop loss is going to be the low of the day. So my entry is going to be right there. Stop loss is going to be the low of the day right there. And then my target is going to be, let's say, this one right here. Now, calculating the setup, right, you could see what your risk to reward is. It's a 5.4 RR, which is a great risk to reward ratio, right? Now, again, you don't want to just like say, okay, well, I want it to hit this target, so now I have an 8 risk to reward, right? You want to make it realistic. Realistically, from what I've seen, guys, that works the best for this type of strategy is you want to target at least a 1.5 to 2 risk to reward. If you start just kind of like going like, okay, it's going to go all the way up here, you're not being realistic, right? You need to make sure you're looking at previous price action levels and using those as your targets. So for example, if I'm looking at this base right here, if it breaks this level, the stock, right, there's really not a lot of resistance until right here. So I know this could be my next target. So realistically, I can get a 5 risk to reward on this, right? So that's exactly how you would do it. That's how you would know how much risk you're taking. And that's how you would get a good risk to reward trade. What MA you use on volume? The 20-day MA, and it's going to be the cloud. Do you use mental stops or hard stops? For options, I use mental stops. And for shares, I use hard stops. Since we're trading on a day, do you still look at the 1-day level for volume institutions? So when you look at setups, guys, you want to look for setups on the daily. So right now you could see on the ticker Tesla, right? I'm on the daily time frame. But tomorrow, if I was going to enter and the stock triggered, let's say tomorrow I was going to enter, what I'm doing is I'm going down to the lower time frame. So what you have to understand is the setup is going to be on the daily, right? So write this down, setup on the daily time frame, right? And then your entry is going to be on the 5 or 15 minute, whichever works better for you. I've tested both. I usually like the 5-minute time frame more, but the 15-minute works as well. So let's take an example, right? Let's say we're going to trade the stock right here, right as it broke out over this level, right? So you know the setup is on the daily and it's good, a good setup. You come down to the lower time frame. So right now I'm on the 5-minute time frame, and you could see I would take the trade right as it breaks this level on the 5-minute time frame. So boom, it breaks out. Look at the volume, right? Look at my cloud. It's above average. So that's exactly why I entered this trade. Now, actually, this is a trade that I personally entered here myself because of the volume, right? At the end of the day, look at the volume that I had into the end of the day. So it looked like a super strong move. Looked like it was going to set up for a big continuation. And that's what gave me the idea to enter that trade. DM me on Instagram for the options cartel blueprint, guys. My hashtag on Instagram is Sean Rechman. So SeanRechtman. Sean Trades. You'll be able to find me. Just literally send me a DM saying Blueprint. You'll get sent the exact PDF. When I enter swing trades at 9:30 market open, daily charts don't yet show higher volume than the previous day. Should I use 1 minute or 5 minute charts to gouge volume early in the session? Yes, exactly. So you're going to use the lower time frames at that point to see if there's going to be a lot of volume. So let's do a little exercise, right? This is what I like to show people when it comes to volume. I like to draw a line like this on the volume, right? And then look to see if anything is standing out, right? So these are all like the volume peaks, right? So you can see on this day right here, Tesla, right? We don't know if it's going to have enough volume at the end of the day, but at open, you could see the volume was very, very high. When I drew this line on the 5 minute and I go all the way back, you could see that volume is very, very high. I mean, it's the highest volume on the 5 minute this has had since all the way back here in July, which is almost a month, right? So knowing that, you already know right off the bat, this is going to be a high volume day, right? So just by looking at the lower timeframes, you can gouge that, just like you said. That's exactly what you want to do. How's my trading strategy changed over the years? I've read a bit through Steven's strategy, and it has obviously a hybrid model that's built from yours. How have you refined yours? Yeah, so totally good question. So I actually learned from a lot of traders that only trade shares, right? So a lot of people might be wondering why I'm trading options when a lot of these great traders that I learned from just traded shares. It's because as a college student, I had a smaller account, right? So I needed to do something. I wasn't able to make money with $500. So I molded it and based this off of my, my account size. And I kind of started to see some really good results. And I just saw no reason to change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I've been able to do really well with options. Obviously, I'm incorporating some more share positions now into my trading as well. But that's what started to evolve, right? I'm using a little bit more shares now. I use both, options and shares. But your trading is always going to evolve, right? You're always going to get better. Your entries are going to get sharper. You're going to look for things that you should be looking for now. Like 3 years ago, I wasn't as sharp as I am today, right? You're always going to get better and evolve as you go. Maybe a few years ago, I was looking at weekly contracts. Now I'm looking at farther out contracts that are a little bit more sustainable. So there's always things that you're going to learn and evolve as you go. What time frame do you enter at or buy options at? On the 5 minute time frame. So your entries are going to be on the 5 minute time frame. The daily time frame is going to be your time frame for the setups, guys. When you look for rising volume confirmation, are you watching volume on the 5 minute, 15 minute, or other time frames? So on the lower time frames, you could use the 5 minute. A really good confirmation tool intraday, right? So during the day, if you don't want to wait all the way until the end of the day for the volume to print, you can use the hourly time frame. That's going to be probably the best confirmation. So hourly will usually confirm a lot of volume, but you can use the 5 minute if you don't want to miss the big breakout right away. How do you determine your base? I have trouble deciding where to set it at. So the easiest thing to do is, let's say we're looking at something like Tesla, right? Just mark out, the points where price has touched the most. That's what you want to do, right? So you don't want to pick like a random level. Like this level right here is not really that important to us because it only touched once, right? Pick a level where price has touched multiple times. So for example, right here, this level has touched multiple times. This level right here has touched multiple times. You can see 1, 2, 3 tests, right? For example, this level right here, it's only been touched once. And this level right here has only been touched once. So we want to choose the one that has been touched the most times. So right here we have 3, tests. And then also it lines up with our trend line, right? So if we break this trend line, we're also breaking this level. So now you have a double confluence of the breakout that is happening, guys, right? What was the stop loss on your Google trade on Friday as you took in the first 5 minutes? It's going to be the low of the day. Low of the day is going to be the stop loss. It doesn't matter if you take the trade on the first 5 minutes, right? You could still take a low day stop, right? So a lot of people are scared to get stopped out quick. I don't understand it. A lot of people do. They're scared to get stopped out quickly. It's okay to get stopped out quickly, guys. It's a part of the process, right? You get stopped out quickly, you move on to the next trade, or you re-enter. But it's all about keeping your losses, small. This is a trade that I took on Google on Friday. Ended up making some, pretty good money on this. I'm still in the position for now. It's up a decent amount. And I took it right off the first 5 minutes, right as it broke right here. My stop loss was at the low of the day, right? It's always going to be at the low of the day. You don't want to mix it up. If it breaks the low, then I'm simply out of the position. But as long as it holds, you can see it ends up making a beautiful run, right? Why does that happen? Why does it run like this? Because the daily time frame has a beautiful daily base and a setup, right? So we have resistance, 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 resistance. Boom. First time it breaks above in a long time. And you could see it has a lot of room to run all the way up to here. That's how we do it. If it breaks through at the start of the day, what will be the stop loss, low of the previous day? You could still use low of day, but yeah, you could use previous day's low as well. You could use the 8 EMA, that could work as well, right? So you could use the 8 exponential moving average. Do you use an integration with your Webull or whichever brokerage you use with TradingViewer? Do you enter orders separately in the brokerage itself? I enter orders separately in the brokerage, guys. Separately in the broker. I like to trade on my actual broker. If I'm looking to swing trade equities as aggressively as you do options, how should I strategize my approach? I ask this because won't my profit margins be smaller? I mean, it will technically be smaller, but at the end of the day, you could just use size to make up for the leverage, right? With options, you don't want to size more than 5% of your account. With shares, it might be a little bit better, or it might be a little bit safer to size maybe 15 or 20% of your account per trade. So you can, use margin, you could use size, but make sure you obviously have a strategy down before you become aggressive, right? Obviously, probably already know that, but just as a heads up. You joined TOC and you 3x your account. Awesome, bro. Love to hear that. What is the best way to eliminate downside but still being able to get into trades with size? Have tight stop losses. That's literally all you have to do, right? A lot of people are scared of tight stop losses. I don't understand it. If you get stopped the same, the first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes, it's not an issue. It's not the end of the world, Guys, by the way, if you booked a call, make sure to respond to the group chat with my team, right? I went over this a little bit, but make sure to respond in the group chat so we can confirm your spot and everything like that. We had over 200 people book a call. So if you guys haven't booked in yet, please make sure to book in. I think you still have time to book if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, let's get through the rest of the questions. But yeah, the best way to eliminate, your downside is to have tight stops. Tight stops. Question about Tesla. You said that volume spikes speaks a ton, and you want typically a strong ignition candle on the left and declining volume as the base forms. Ideally, sell candles should be lower than buy candles, right? Is the reason why Tesla is still a strong setup is because of the large base it's forming? Do you not consider the big red volume candle on June 5th as a warning sign? Yeah, so keep in mind, right? This is still building the pattern. It still hasn't technically broken out, right? So I'm looking for volume to confirm the breakout, right? So it hasn't broken out yet with volume, so it's not confirmed. Now, if you're looking at this candle volume, this is off of news, right? And it got absorbed the next few sessions. So if a candle like this happens on news, sometimes you have to understand, okay, news is going to ignite volume into the market. This isn't just institutions, right? Because when news happens, there's a reason why buying and selling occurs, right? And a lot of people are going to have their eyes on this. So news, I usually like to kind of, be a little bit not put as much weight on it. And if price action tightens up and still shapes up well, I'm looking at all the price action and the volume patterns after the news actually happens. So look at what happens after the news, right? So you have one big sell candle, but since this kind of low right here, look at all the volume, right? So if we draw a line like this, look at which volume is above all the time, right? So you have buy, sell twice right here, sell, and then you have buy, sell once on earnings, but buy, right? So majority of the volume is on the buy side. So this is accumulation. And remember, accumulation takes time, guys. It's not going to happen all in one shot. It's going to take time to form, and you're going to be able to see it within the patterns, right? But it's not going to all happen at once, right? So for example, right here is another good example of like, okay, there was one big red day of volume, but overall this base was accumulating, right? So they had a ton of volume on the left side of the chart. Overall volume was declining, even though you had a few like big down days, right? You had even this down day right here. But then on the right side of the chart, look at where the volume comes in. So as long as the volume comes back in on the right side of the chart, boom, the stock is ready to move, right? And anyways, you don't really want to be trading the chop here. You want to be trading when the stock is breaking out. Boom, breaks out, you catch the big move. You don't want to be trading the chop. That makes sense? Only risking 3 to 5% of account with a 2K account leaves such little, if at any at all, options for nice setups because the contract prices are much higher than 3 to 5% risk. Yeah, if you have a smaller account, you might have to adjust it a little bit, right? So if you have a small account, maybe use 10% of your account, right? And use $200 positions. But don't be, somebody who uses like 50% of your account. It's not going to do any good for you. I know it might be hard, right? Because everybody is using much larger amounts of money. But you want to get the consistency down, right? At the end of the day, I didn't make any huge, strides in my account. And I'm not like somebody who had, you guys, you have to understand about my journey, right? I'm not somebody who was, given money. I'm not somebody who had a ton of money in my name. I was literally a college student working like $12 an hour jobs to fund money in my accounts. I was like waiting. I was doing, things during summer to make even enough funds to get into my account. I used the stimulus checks that I got in 2020. I didn't have like, tens of thousands of dollars. And what I realized after a year of trading is I was just doing it the wrong way. I was like throwing money away by using too much size when I didn't know the right way to trade, right? So what I did was wait for the time when I started to see, okay, I'm consistent. I can make money. I could actually do this now. That's when I started to size up because I had the confidence, I had the discipline, I had everything that I needed to become an active and profitable trader. But if you don't have those things yet and you're like on the verge of it, sizing up does nothing for you other than burn money, right? So you want to do that the right way. So just keep that in mind. But yes, you might have to size up a little bit more. Just makes sense, right? In swing trading, how do I track real profit when holding positions for days and gains or all unrealized? My gains keep disappearing before I can sell, leaving me to stop out of the loss. Well, you have to move up your stop loss, right? You need to have the right scale out strategy. You can't just hold and then, not move up your stops. That's a part of the trimming strategy. So that's exactly what I'm going to teach you in the inner circle and exactly how to do that. But you need to trim out, right? So you're never going to be holding the position all the time, a full position, because then you're just praying and holding. What you want to do is as the trade progresses, let's say you entered this trade, Tesla right here, as it was breaking out of this post earnings gap right here, you entered it right here, you sell maybe a little bit here, you sell maybe a little bit here. Now what you do is you move your stop loss up. So you move it up right here and you move it up right here, right? You don't just wait for it to come all the way back down another, year later. You take profits as you go. That's the whole point of swing trading. Now, investing is completely different. That's a different, approach to, an investing strategy. But with trading, you have to move up your stops and you have to lock in profits. If you don't sell into strength, you're going to be, left to sell into weakness, just like you explained. Do you check extended trading hours or you just concentrate on regular hours? Most of the times, just regular hours. Sometimes extended hours in the morning, like before the market opens. Following up on Joe's question, how would you find that you've been able to swing more and for longer because you have more capital now versus before? I feel conflicted because with smaller accounts, it almost feels like you have to use larger position sizing, maybe tighter stops, etc. Yeah, so if you use, bigger position sizing, you could just have tighter stops, right? Because at the end of the day, the stop could be based on a dollar amount depending on how far away you are from the low of the day. So the closer you are to the low of the day, the tighter risk you have. So you don't have to enter all the way up here, put your stop loss all the way down here and have very small size. You could actually have a bigger size, right? But your entry is right here and your stop loss is just right under. That way you still have the same risk profile, but you're able to, have a little bit more leverage in terms of size. How do you select the call options when choosing the breakout and short versus long calls? Well, you're always going to be looking to long calls with this strategy. You never want to sell options with this strategy, right? You could sell puts, I guess, but that's not really what I teach. Now, selling options is a great, tool that you could use. I just would use a different strategy when it comes to shorting options and selling options. But what you're looking to do and how you're going to choose your options, guys, is you're going to look at the length of the base. That's the most important thing. So this is what a lot of people don't do, right? So different setups are going to need different time and amounts for the contracts. For example, if we have this big of a base, we can use like this tool here on TradingView, the date range, measure how long of a base this is. This is 92 days of consolidation. So with 92 days of consolidation, do you think you're going to need a 1 week out contract or are you going to need 90 days, right? That's how you're going to get an idea of how much time you're going to need because let's do this example right here as well, right? Let's say you caught this base right here. This is at 120 days of consolidation and you bought it weekly for this, right? Let's say you bought it right here. You ended up catching a nice move, right? But at the end of the day, your contract expired somewhere here, right? But this ended up running for another, 30, 40 days. And if you would have had enough time, you would have been able to catch the whole move instead of, not having enough time. So I'd like to at least buy 2 to 3 weeks out, if not a month out, right? Depending on the base, depending how much time you need. For example, if you have a much smaller base, guys, like this setup on Meta right here, this is only, let's say, like 11 days. You only need 2 weeks of time on this, right? Because that's the base. Like that's the base, right? And if you're looking to trade the weekly breakout, now you're going to need much more time because you're looking at the bigger base, right? So it all depends on the setup. Now, the calls you're going to choose, what I like to do is use the ADR. So this is the average daily range. And what I like to do is use the average daily range to buy out the money calls. So for example, if Meta is at 769, I like to buy the ADR out the money, meaning at 2% out the money. So 769, add 2% of whatever the move is on Meta. I think that's about like $15 or $20. That's how much out the money I'd like to be. So if the stock is at 770, I would actually take the 790 calls or the 800 calls, something around that area. So you could use the ADR to know exactly how and which options to buy, guys. All right, guys, I'm probably gonna have to wrap it up here. But leverage comments is a great alternative, correct? Yes. Let's say a stock breaks out with volume early in the day and you miss the entry. Let's say in the middle of the day, there's a retest of the breakout and the price is breaking out of a flag on lower time frame. There's no volume now. Do you still take the trade? If there's no volume, I don't take the trade. If the volume is higher than the pullback, I do take the trade. So it has to have high volume. Any special tip for tight stop loss in case of options? You could use conditional orders to put your stop loss under a level of price instead of an options level. So you could use it to put, let's say, for example, you wanted to buy Meta here and use 759 as a stop loss. Instead of putting the stop loss on the option, you can actually put it on the stock's price, which is going to help you a lot. It's easier to calculate. How many times would you re-enter if you get stopped out? As much as possible, right? I mean, as much as needed. If the setup is amazing, I could enter multiple times. When will we get a message about from the group chat? If you booked a call, you should be able to get it like right away. I'm pretty sure you'll get it right away. If you didn't get it, please let me know. You didn't get a message, but you should be on the lookout for messages, guys, on your phone. We should be able to see a group chat if you joined. Got it. So I can size up a bit, like 15 to 20% if you want to trade equities. Should I use the same strategy that you have with options for myself, even though I'm trading different securities? Example, use low of day stop, even though having a position in stock rather than options means I have no time risk. Yes, 100%. So if you've ever studied Qual McGee, that's where I got the low of day stop from. And he's a trader that only trades equities and he still uses low of day stop. So I don't see a reason not to use low of day stop. That's usually the best spot to use a stop loss. You can use the moving averages as well. But what I would recommend to do is, always test the data and see what works best for you. Every trader has things that works better for them than others, right? Everyone is different. We all have different personalities. So always see what works good for you and what doesn't. I used tight stops when I went from 1K to 3K, used 40%, 60 on margin to build. There you go. Yeah, that's the right way to do it. I mean, you need to use tight stops. If you're going to take more risk, your stops need to be tighter. For a small account like 1 to 2K, you can almost never buy multiple contracts to be able to scale out and trim profits. Would you just target higher profit targets or target the usual profit targets? Keep stop loss much tighter. Yeah, so I would focus on, if you have a small account, don't focus on scaling right now because realistically, again, you're not going to be able to buy as much contracts, right? So focus on profitability, right? That's the most important thing. If you can prove to yourself that you can make 10% a month, right? You're beating the S&P in the first month. The S&P makes 10% a month, right? So you have to be realistic. If we can make 10% a month, imagine what you could do on $10,000. Right now you can make $1,000 a month, right? And then you could start building and compounding your capital. So focus on profitability. I know, it doesn't sound, the sexiest to focus on, profitability versus making a ton of money right away, but it's the right way to do it. And that's how I've, helped traders scale from. I've had traders, guys, that I've worked with that have had $500, right? I've worked with a trader earlier this year who had $500 account, right? $500 account. Like you can barely buy anything with that. And instead of full porting, which is what he was doing before, told him, let's for one month, let's just try to maybe get into position sizes that are 10% of our account, right? Or 15% of our account. So we only use, let's say, $70 or $80 per trade, right? So you find cheap stocks so you can buy one contract on that are cheaper instead of full porting. Let's try to do this for a month, right? He did that for a month. He built his account up to like $800 to $900, right? It's not anything crazy, but he almost doubled his account, which is amazing, right? And he did it in 1 month, right? A lot of people might think $400 in 1 month is not a lot, but it's the fact that he built the skill the correct way. And from there, now he had $900 to work with. So you always want to do this and scale the right way. That's how you're able to scale quickly. Scaling slower is actually scaling quickly. And once you understand, that one thing is where everything changes when it comes to scaling accounts. But the Tesla-con that you posted on the focus list is weekly. What's the reasoning here? That is because I'm already in the position with September cons, right? So I'm adding into my position. That's called taking more leverage on the position. This is the same strategy I use, learned it from Qual McGee. There you go. Yeah, Qual McGee's the absolute GOAT, guys. And yeah, I mean, you want to learn from the greats. You want to be the great, you have to learn from the greats. It's like if you want to become a amazing soccer player, you learn from Messi or Ronaldo. If you want to become a great basketball player, you learn from LeBron or, Michael Jordan. You have to learn from the greats. And the strategy is proven because we've seen greats be able to do this. And you've seen me be able to do this. So if I can do it, or if I can do it and, they can do it, why can't you? That's what I always thought when I was first starting to trade. And that's what really, got me through all the tough times. Booked a call for tomorrow at 6 p.m., but didn't get a group text message as far as I know. Let me know if you need me to DM you, Sean. Yeah, DM me just to make sure that everything is good. All right, guys, I'm probably going to hop off here. Just make sure, again, if you didn't book a call, go in the chat section, not in the Q&A section, and you'll be able to see the book a call. So book a call, guys. If you weren't able to book one, or if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me personally, DM me. If you have any questions about this, please let me know, guys. Again, this is probably going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You've already seen some of the results you've gotten for some other students. Honestly, I'm urging you to invest in yourself. If you're going to do one thing, invest in yourself. You're probably going to spend a bunch of money on stupid things over the course of your life. Instead of doing that, spend money on the right thing, invest in yourself. That's something I wish that I would have done when I first started. And the reason why I'm confident about it is because I've seen what, this has been able to do for other people. And I want everyone to be able to experience, something like this. So, yeah, guys. Hopefully everyone has a good rest of your night, and I'll see everybody in the Discord for the nightly focus list, and we'll go over the plan for the week, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed the webinar. Even if you're not going to join the inner circle, guys, I hope you got value from this. Apply everything we talked about, though, right? If you took notes, apply it going into the next day, the next week, guys. Let's absolutely crush this week. Let's have an amazing week. Let's have an amazing end of year. 2026 is set to be one of the best, years in terms of momentum in the markets. Let's absolutely crush it. All right, guys. Hopefully everyone has a great rest of your night, and I'll see you all later, guys. Bye, guys.